Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Inside Lion Athletics. Charlie Chitwood here. I'm hanging out in Jefferson these days. There's plenty to do. George Pincock, the Lion track king. Let me tell you what, Jefferson's it's not big enough to hold you. This whole continent couldn't hold you. And Mr. Everybody calls him Fuse off to China for the world relays. And there wasn't a lion on the uniform, but what an experience out there, right?
Yeah, world class event. Just blessed to be part of that and have that opportunity to be out there with the team.
So, George, tell everybody what this was. Was not just going over to watch and support one of your lions in an international test like this. I mean, you saw him run at the Olympics last year, but you were over there in an official capacity at the relays. Tell everybody about this.
Yeah, I think just by good fortune and Fuse has done well, and just had the opportunity to talk with people from their national federation, and uh, one thing led to another, and I was there as the official team leader slash team coach for Team Ghana. So I just had the opportunity to represent them really.
Now the weekend, and I can't wait because we're going to have Fuse on with us here in a little bit. But tell us from your perspective, they didn't qualify for the Worlds on the first day of the relays. What, missed it by 6/10 of a second? But on the second day to qualify, and their last chance, right?
Yeah, a unique format, but we missed day one, and
Okay.
day two was the opportunity to get the automatic qualifying. So a unique setup there, though. So
And it worked out okay, but it might not have started that way by the time the baton got around to Ibrahim.
yeah, no, I mean, like I said, a unique format. Day one of the competition, I believe there's 26 teams. Uh, they run four different sections.
Hmm.
Uh, from those four sections, the top two automatically qualify for the final.
Hmm.
Uh, and those eight teams are guaranteed their spot at the World Championship in Tokyo later this summer. Then all the other teams that are outside of that top two are kind of brought back for a second qualifying round, and that's
Hmm.
pared down to three sections. And then from those three sections, top two of each of those. So that puts your total qualifying teams at 14 for that world championship. And then they take another two based off of world ranking. And then that's always tough to do because there's a lot of factors that go into world ranking. So, the goal was to get into the final round, top eight, and have that pressure off. Uh, we didn't quite do it. We were close.
Hmm.
We were very close on Saturday night, but came back on Sunday, got the stick around, and we did our job, and they secured their spot for Tokyo.
There was quite a rally in that fourth and final leg of the race.
Yeah.
Uh, Tell us a little bit about your perspective of it. Were you inside? Were you on the in the infield? Were you in the stands? How close to the team were you?
Oh, well, I was with the team all the way up till they have a gathering point that they need to be at a certain time before the race. So I was with the team all the way up until that point. And then I just had the opportunity to kind of go up in the stands and sit up top and watch looking down. So um, I was fairly confident we had a good shot. I liked the draw that we got, the teams that we were racing. I felt pretty confident that if we executed well on Sunday, that we would be there. So, and it
Wow.
was close. We had a little bobble on a handoff, but our second leg, Jean Paul Amoa, very very composed on the backstretch and did his job to keep us in that race. Third leg kept us in the race, and then Fuse on that anchor leg closed it down and almost took the heat win.
No, he did. It was at like one more step or maybe two at the
Yeah,
most.
yeah, yeah. Or a bigger shoulder, bigger lean. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in this
yeah.
situation, two is as good as one, and it's not often I say that. So
I mean, to tell you, that was thrilling to see that video when Athletics got it posted online.
yeah,
What a close. So we'll talk more about that when we get him aboard. We need to talk about the conference championship meet that's coming up right after
yeah,
we get done almost.
yeah. I've got to do some laundry and pack my bag. Be on the road tomorrow morning and head down to Houston for our championship.
I hear the weather's going to be a little bit warm and muggy down there. It's good. It's good and it's bad. It's easy to get loose.
Yeah. I've been told I haven't even had the chance to look at the forecast yet. So if it's anything like it was last year, though, we know it's going to be hot. We'll do some things on the front end to prepare with hydration and a little extra rest. But I think you expect that this time of year in Houston.
When you walk into the stadium and when Fuse walks out onto the track, a guy that is already with the honor and the chops to represent his country at the international level like that, do they have a little extra swagger when they walk in? I mean, or is there anything just perceived like, oh, dang it, there goes the gold medal?
Uh, I don't know. I don't think so. Again, I think most of our guys, we try to teach them to be confident, right? Focus on the things that you have done, the things that you know you can do,
Hmm.
and don't spend your time dwelling on the unknowns. So maybe there's confidence more than a swagger. Uh,
Right?
so I hope that we walk in confident, and I hope that others can feel that, not that we're trying to outwardly push that, but I hope that's how confident that we are.
Fair enough. All right. So, what other areas of the meet are we confident walking into?
Yeah,
Certainly, so on the women's side, some of the throwing events, some of the jumping.
yeah,
Uh,
you've seen a pretty good streak of school record in the women's throws. We've seen a pretty good streak of records in high jumps. Um, but I feel really confident that the team is as prepared as they can be.
mhm.
I think we're going to see a lot of season best um, across all the different events. So I expect it to be a complete team effort. Um, and just saying, proud of each event group and the way that they contributed to whatever that team score may be.
And the jumpers going into this, you've got some hopes for some of those as well.
Yeah, I think we have a couple people that haven't on the men's side in the horizontal jumps really jumped great outdoors yet.
Hmm.
And that's not anything that they're at fault for. Some of it's just conditions, some of it's just repetition. But we've got people that could easily score or even win this conference. I don't want to say easily because that's disrespectful to others, but
Right,
are
right, right.
a real threat to do very well in this conference in those events. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those people step up this week.
What kind of routine do you and the athletes have down in Houston at a meet like this? Are you staying together when you're not at the stadium or?
Yeah, I mean, we try to, again, we take into account what's the weather's doing. If someone's not running till 7 at night, I don't want them in the stadium at 2 in the afternoon.
Mhm.
So we have some shuttle systems that we set up that kind of bring people in when we can throughout the day. There's some things that we do from the hydration side, from the cooling side that I don't want to talk tons about because I think it's we're using uh, a lot of years of experience from Coach Light being at LSU and drawing on those days to help our student athletes. I'm not trying to
Yep.
give away some of those tricks, but things we do there to keep people cool and prepared.
Tell me and this would be good for anybody. What is the number one best way to get hydrated and stay hydrated?
Start yesterday. Start
Start yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah, just be on a consistent hydration schedule for the entire week. And then it's really about it. Eat
Okay.
well too. Eating is a really important part of that. When you start mixing in some races and some big efforts, your
Hmm.
ability to recover and come back in the heat is affected quite a bit by nutrition as well.
All right, so you can go for taste over nutrition almost. Where do you like to go eat in Houston? We had Jim explaining the differences between the jalapeno mayonnaise on a po' boy in Lake Charles versus regular mayonnaise.
Look, you're probably asking the wrong guy. I'm more of a eat for survival or eat because I remember to. Oatmeal, eggs, and whatever's in front of me is what's good to me. Um,
Strictly looking at it from the values.
yeah, exactly. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask that. So
Well, now we know.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Hey, so what kind of tip us off with Ibrahim coming on? What do we want to talk to Fuse about?
Um, I think you can probably ask him a little bit about the experience, what it was
Hmm.
like. He's had the opportunity to represent his country in a few different countries now,
Hmm.
and maybe what those experiences have been like and how they've been different. Um, you can ask him what it was like to run anchor leg. That was the first time he ran anchor leg
Okay.
on that relay, so probably a little bit different. And ask him anything you want. He's a
I
good
love
guy.
it. Hey, that gives us some really good stuff to talk about, those.
Yeah.
We do that. So
Yeah.
thanks for that, Coach, and everybody out watching. That's how we do it in big time podcasts. We'll be back, Coach. Stick around with us. Will you go get Fuse?
All
And
right.
we'll light it up when he gets back
All
on
right.
Inside Lion Athletics. Folks, don't go away. So tell us a little bit about the relays, Fuse.
Mm, I mean, it was cool. Every
How
day,
how was the weather out there?
I mean, it was the first day it was raining, right?
Yeah, the
It was,
first
the
day
first
was
was
very
very very
rainy.
rainy.
Mm-hmm.
So the weather was kind of like complicated, but the second day was very cool.
Very cool, but drier. And
Very
what's your favorite running conditions?
dry, like very hot.
You like it very hot. So it's going to be better in Houston than it was in Guangdong.
I need to run in the cold.
Yeah.
So tell us about the race on Sunday, right? That was the qualifier. But talk about the how your team performed and then what happened when you got the stick.
So we did great, and I think everyone on the team ran good so well. That from the start to the finish, everyone do good. They did well, and wasn't it very much respect to JP, our uncle. Like he was able to handle the stick for right when things couldn't go well. He was able to handle the stick well, and he handed the stick over to the third leg because the third leg was like he's like a fresh person on the team. He doesn't have like no experience, and
Uh-huh.
he handed the stick over to me, and I just had to get the job done.
Boy, it was a job too. Now, at your level and at your speed, sometimes, I mean, you feel every race, there's a little bit of a different feel unless you're just in a long, long groove. But how you feel when you got the stick and you saw how far ahead he was and you still tracked him down?
So I think from the look of things, I realized I could have just like catch him up like for like silly mistakes. Right,
Mm-hmm.
we were like second already, but I look and I saw that the Korean guy was also moving. I was on the same level with him, so I just had
Mm-hmm.
to run him down.
You did indeed. Do you like running in the outside lanes or the inside lanes better?
It doesn't matter. It depends on if only I'm healthy, I'm good.
Okay. What about curves versus straightaway?
Yes. Wasn't it
I
straight away?
the straightaway to finish, but I love the curves because you can lean so much getting into it. All right, man. So this was the first time for you to be run the anchor leg with the relays, right? How'd that go? There's always a little bit of nerves on that because it's pretty important one.
I would say it's kind of like exposure to me. It's something nice to me. So like
Mm-hmm.
Jopa gave me the chance to run the ankle leg, and he was like, "Fierce, you got it, let's go." And I talked to Coach Ben. Coach Ben was like, "Fierce, you got it, let's go." And I said, "Okay, well, since they all said I got it, I'm gonna just go out there and just do it right."
Coach said that you've now run in 3 different countries. Well, he said you've run in a number of different countries, but Ghana, the United States, China, Paris, that would be 4, France. How many other countries have you been running in?
So I've been to Paris, France, Paris, Philadelphia, was in Bahamas,
Okay.
China. Yeah, I think 4 countries so far.
Yeah.
Cameroon, 5 countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Who had the best operations? I mean, you go in now, you kind of expect the athletes all do, how's everybody do running the meets?
Like the countries, you're talking about the countries?
Yeah, the host organizations, the facilities.
I'm gonna pick China. Because
Yeah.
they have some good foods over there. They have
Yeah.
good food. And the people there too are so nice.
What kind of food did they have over there for you? Did they have something that you would recognize from home or not?
So far, I think they have the best noodles in the world. Yeah.
It was how did you have to use chopsticks, everything, or
I never use a chopstick because I don't know how to use it.
oh, okay. I had to learn. I spent 5 days over there years ago, and I just swore that I was going to do chopsticks only. I didn't drop anything on the floor. So, what about going into the conference meet now?
Going to the conference meet, I think we just have to keep the same composure, like as you always do. That's what we need to do. And I'm just praying we make sure everyone is healthy and go out there and run great. Because the goal for this year is this my 3rd year on the team.
Mm-hmm.
My aim is my aim is to make sure we win the title. That's the aim. Yeah.
So, do all the sprinters hang out together? Are all you guys in the relay like hanging out all the time?
Oh yeah, yes, we do. We do hang out.
I don't know what else. I think you guys are great. I think it's awesome. Y'all are going to have this chance. And this could, I mean, we don't want to jinx anything. So knocking on wood everywhere I find it, but this could be the last competition before East Texas A&M goes all the way full blown into Division One. What a way to burst out, huh?
No, we're ready for it. We're more than ready. We've been waiting. So
How much fun are these guys, Coach, to work with around the track? Are they? I mean, you have to do your work. You got to put in the grind. Everybody knows that, but you can have fun doing it too.
yeah, no,
Are they real super serious?
absolutely not. I mean, they'll run what they need to run, but these guys, they have their own personalities. Fuse is a fan favorite most places he goes. He's interactive with the kids. I'm convinced he only knows one Chinese word.
Okay.
Ni hao.
Ni hao.
And he used it everywhere he went, and he made tons of friends just because he could say ni hao. So there's some video floating out there of him getting the entire lobby full of the hotel riled up and in photos, and they're signing autographs, and yeah, a lot of personality, not just with him, but the entire group. So
Lions are rock stars everywhere they go.
something like that.
Something like that. All right, guys. Well, listen, Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us today. Coach, thanks for bringing him on. And good luck to you guys down in Houston.
Thank you.
Knock it out. We'll be keeping up with it.
All right.
Sir,
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to line up here. That's going to do it. We have extra track and field to talk about this time, but we've got more coming up next. Hey, everybody, welcome back to some more Inside Lion Athletics with George Pincock and Ibrahim Fuseini, who's going to be doing big things at the Southland Conference track meet. They did some pretty good stuff over in China, and that means they get to go to Japan, but more about that later because we've got Jim Curry with us. What's up, boss?
Hey, how's it going?
Another day in paradise.
Hey, I appreciate you mentioning, Foose and everything he did. If nobody's seen the clip of that anchor leg of the 4x1, that was pretty impressive. And again, I think just continued validation of the type of, investment and development that we're putting into student athletes here, it was probably very fitting and maybe appropriate given where we're at that, you have that performance on the same, at a world-class level, right? So world-class athletes around here at the same time that we had 65 walk across the stage at graduation. So, it was a good weekend for Lion Athletics for sure.
Absolutely. Good day to be walking down the street is lucky. You've got more stuff, and luck would be involved with this. Night of Champions is coming up,
Yeah.
and that means casino night.
Yes, yes. And not a and a new twist on it for this year too. It's sold out.
No way.
Yeah, sold out. So put that release
Like
out yesterday.
300,
Yeah.
350. How many
Yeah,
is
we're gonna
that?
we're gonna
300?
be about 300 in the room. And so we're excited about that. We've gotten we knew we had a great event last year and there was a lot of energy coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought, we could have a great turnout again, and we are, obviously. But I think the important thing is, though, for folks that still want to participate, there's still two ways to participate in Night of Champions. We have the silent auction. Still, it's live right now. You can actually start bidding. I got outbid on something this morning by somebody, but
Ah,
oh yeah, but that's okay. But the silent auction is live, and it will be live through the event on Saturday. I'm sorry,
mhm.
Friday, because it's a Friday night event this year.
Right.
So live through the event on Friday, and but anybody can participate anywhere across Lion Nation. So if you can't make it for whatever reason, you can still participate and still help out student athletes in that regard. There's some
Okay.
really good items in the silent auction this year. And then also we've got a great partner in Atmos.
Mhm.
Doing a scholarship match this year for $5,000. So we are working on unlocking that match. So if anybody wants to contribute in that regard, they can as well. But yeah, we're really excited. We've got some great partners. Avsant, who was actually really involved in doing the Fieldhouse boards that are new.
Mhm.
That were in use for graduation this past weekend and had got some rave reviews. But Avsant is our presenting sponsor, and they've been great partners along the way. So obviously, it's a big it's been a big couple months around here for Avsant with the Fieldhouse boards coming in, and then obviously Night of Champions as well.
So, I mean, all of them worked. Everything worked.
It was great.
That's all.
I
That's
mean,
always that first thing is like, got to make sure everything's plugged in right.
well,
That's so
I
cool.
also told Dr. Rudin and Tina, the CFO, we were at cabinet this week, and just so much great feedback about the boards and the field house for
Mhm.
graduation. And then, but honestly, we've gotten great feedback on the recruiting side. I mean, I don't know how to measure the ROI on it from a recruiting perspective, but
Mhm.
bring recruits into that space now. It's not the same field house that maybe you once might have remembered. There's been a little bit here and there over the last couple of years, whether it's the lights, the floor, the boards, just it's got a whole different look and feel to it now. And that's at the same time that we're able to tell the story about the rest of the investment in campus. So yeah, they've been fantastic for sure.
That's really, really great. Um, you wanted to talk a little bit about graduation still, because it was, I mean, we had 65 student athletes that walked across. And how does that number hold up from D2 days? Because I'm sure y'all got the numbers to look at. But it's all on the up and up since the transition began. These are the
Yeah,
largest
for
numbers.
sure since the transition and really since COVID. We kind of had a peak year class it was on the backside of COVID when kind of everything opened back up. Uh,
Right?
so we almost kind of had like a class and a half in a weird way. Uh,
Hmm.
but that was 72 graduates we had, but we haven't hit that number since. And certainly since COVID, and then certainly since the D1 transition, this is a high water mark for us. And I think it's important, particularly in for a lot of reasons, obviously, but that's important context in light of just how fluid the environment is right now in Division One, particularly with transfer portal, and things like that. So, to be able to continue to raise the bar, what we're doing academically and particularly in terms of graduation is really important. Again, the world of college athletics can change, but quite candidly, our commitment to graduating student athletes has not changed one bit. In fact, we're leaning into it even more I think it's going to be really important to be able to have outcomes like that, particularly in this new paradigm,
Mhm.
so folks understand, what this is all about, this experience here. But yeah, I mean, and we started to get grades rolling in. They started rolling in last night. We're still waiting on some of the bigger teams, the tracks and the football that just have more student athletes on the roster, so more grades to process. But
Mhm.
early returns really, really good. So I'm excited to see how it all comes together. But I think anecdotally, things are going pretty good, but then you need to see the outcome, right? And what happens in
Mhm.
the grade report. And at least the first few teams that have come through have been very, very strong. So looking forward to seeing how we can finish there.
All right. So when you've got recruits on campus and you get them into the field house, let's just take Rose has got a few, or Coach Val, and they get to see some shiny things. But and I think it's probably still mom that always, if anybody's going to ask about graduation and academics, it's going to be mom, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think we're doing a good job of recruiting student athletes that are also focused on academics as well. So I want to
Hmm.
give credit to the students as well. Uh, I can't say it just yet, but wait till you see a couple of these guys that we're bringing in for men's basketball this year. They're really good basketball players, but one of them's a valedictorian. Another just was an academic, was the scholar athlete of the year at his respective conference last year. So,
Hmm.
what the students obviously are doing the work too, but, you know, what I talked to, actually, I was meeting with a recruit, during graduation, uh,
Hmm.
on Friday. And, what we've talked about in this kind of new context, or within the framework of the new era of college athletics, I think everybody gets kind of hyper focused on the NIL and the additional direct benefits to student athletes, and yeah, that's
Hmm.
understandable. But I mean, having seen it and been on it on the front end of it, in the state of Florida, where we were the first state to have NIL legislation, and how we were educating student athletes in that space, there are very few people, if any, that are making enough additional, direct support dollars from NIL to retire, right? And so this idea that you're gonna, gotta have this additional support, and then not have to get a degree, not have to think about life after sport, whatever that may be, whether that's going pro or going something other than pro when you leave
Hmm.
here. That if you're not thinking about that, then it's really short-sighted.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, the numbers just are stacked up against them. And it's probably, I mean, I totally get it. I saw Freddie Patek and Joe Morgan in the 70s, and I knew that I could be a major league second baseman. I, there turned out there were a few other things.
yeah. So again, even with all that, it hasn't changed the need to have a plan, and an avenue for life after sport. Again, because even if there may be more dollars going into the pockets of some of these student athletes than there were before,
Hmm.
you still have to have a plan, and you're not going to be able to retire on that. So thinking through it all together and how it all works together is really important.
Okay. That's good insights. Thank you for that. Um, what about, well, let's just stick up because we're still in transition, but we've got some to talk about for the very soon time when we might be out of it. Uh, we had George Pincock yesterday. I already touched on that, but the whole team is down there. It's not just the two of them, and this would be kind of a fun Southland meet to watch. The way these Lions are top heavy in a lot of different events.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's exciting. They've obviously had a great year, hit some new firsts in cross country. Obviously had a great indoor season, and a finish in the conference championship there. And then, now kind of bringing it all to a head here in the outdoor season. We get to see a couple of the, throwers that maybe we didn't see in the indoor season, of course. Last time I checked, it's not safe to throw discus and javelin inside, right? So,
Right.
yeah, because now being outside
Well,
of the
they make dart boards that
house.
maybe they could come up with a catcher system for it.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so excited for those guys to kind of bring it in for the remainder of the year. And again, they've had a great year so far, and so we know it's going to be a great weekend, and I think it's just a question of how good it can be.
All right. So, from your perspective as a fan with an all access pass, where's the best place to watch a race? Do you like to be in the infield? Do you like to have a little uh, altitude for a perspective?
A little altitude's always kind of nice, I think, right? That's one of the things about like watching even games from the field level. You can't see as much, right? So
Hmm.
is it cool to be down there? Yeah, you get a different perspective, but you miss a lot being as low down there. You can't see, in particular in track, you can't see the stretch. You can't see some of the other stuff going on because it's track meets,
Hmm.
things going on everywhere. Indoor meets are a little different because you're just in a little bit more of a tighter space, and so you can kind of see everything. But when
Hmm.
you get into an outdoor venue for track, where you kind of set up probably matters a little bit. So, yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite spot. I just know that sometimes being elevated in any sporting event has got a little bit more draw to it. Actually, I took my kids to the hockey game last weekend, and I'd taken them before, and we sat a little closer, and my kids had a hard time seeing the puck because of that, just angle of the ice and everything like that. So we
And
actually
the boards,
sat,
yeah.
yeah, we in the boards. We sat a little higher actually this past weekend, and they loved it because they could just follow the puck a little easier. So, kind of maybe in the same spirit. Sometimes being a little bit up off the competition level is a good thing.
It slows the game down a little bit. It's not so bang bang where you get whiplash. You don't have to turn so much and still see it.
Well, you can kind of see things set up as well, right? And
Yeah.
so, whether it's whatever sport it is, right? There's things happening around the play even before, the snap or the action or whatever it may be that you can kind of see set up a little bit better. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, very well. Okay. So track meet, graduation, reclassification.
Oh, yeah. Still working on that.
It's not much of it left though.
There's not much left. There's really not. We had a great meeting last week at the towards the end of the week with folks from the NSA on the data review side. So we mentioned some of this. It's more like a desk review on some of our academic data.
Mhm.
Really just validating all the stuff that we've reported is accurate. And so that's been good. Um, we've got some stuff we'll send in today for that, and then we've got the annual report that we do every year that's due on the 1st of June. It'd be nice to kind of be on the other side of the reclass process because it seems that everything is due June 1st,
Mhm.
whether it's some stuff here university wide, whether that's graduation success rate data is June 1st in the NCAA. All this reclass stuff is due June 1st. So it's just it'll be nice to clear May out a little bit more because May's a really busy month for us. And I think some folks think, oh yeah, we're getting into summer. And no, you're starting to think about all the new student athletes coming in. You're starting to program for physicals. You're trying to bring some of the planning for football and the fall sports, into a little better focus. Our coaches are still heavily recruiting, and that's just kind of the nature of the transfer portal window now and the way that the
Mhm.
whole recruiting environment's set up that whereas before like you would know on May 15 what your roster was going to be in the past.
Mhm.
There's schools all over the country right now that don't know all the final pieces of their roster right now just because of the way that the environment's set up. So it's May has gotten a lot busier, particularly post graduation than it was in the past.
Unbelievable. That portal, it's just so interesting to see because it's so new still. I mean, in the big scheme of things, what, 7, 8 years old now?
Yeah, I mean it's not
Um,
that old. The portal itself is actually maybe even younger than that. I can't remember exactly when it came in, but yeah, I mean it's only been a few years now.
and I mean, just the access to it is, and the reporting from it is still, well, you have to be real close to it to know where to turn for information, and it won't be anything like what the coaches see, right?
Right. Yeah. And the hard part too is that you know, you've got the transfer windows. Those are the time periods you have to go in. But
Hmm.
once you go in, there's no deadline on when you have to make a decision. So these decisions can just kind of linger and drag because there
Hmm.
is no date certain by which you have to make a decision. So that's, I think, sometimes one of the things that maybe folks don't completely understand about the portal is it's not like it's a 15-day window where you get in and you make your decisions and then you don't have any work to do after those 15 days. No, that's usually when all the work begins. And again,
Okay.
there's no end date to that until actually you just decide you're done, with recruiting for that season.
Hey, did you see that article? And I don't think it was Matt Brown, it was somebody else he might have been referencing. But there'd been a report on how people are doing once they go into the portal and how they come out.
Yep.
And the numbers coming out to go somewhere else and continue at the same level, D1 to D1, or even moving up from a lower classification to D1. It's so tiny.
Yeah, it's not as fruitful as folks might think. There was an interesting stat. I sent this actually to Clint back at the start of the year, um, where they were showing someone had actually broken down all the data over the last few years and looked at all conference selections in the FCS who then transferred up to FBS. And
Okay.
they basically compared their snap count from the time period when they were FCS and when they transferred up. And basically what they found is that about 50%, so half of the kids that transferred up from FCS to FBS saw their snap count decrease by 50% or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things that, okay, like there's no assurance. Really, it's a 50-50 chance that you're going to play as many snaps as you did at or really any meaningful snaps over the course of the season that you
Hmm.
FCS to FBS moving up. So, that's the type of information that I think, people need to have as they
Yeah.
have decisions about going into the portal and what may be possible from there. Because sometimes it's scheme, fit, institution, league, a multitude of factors that go into success, obviously, particularly in team sport, of course. And
Hmm.
so, it doesn't always translate at the next stop. And, I think for us, that's why for us, in terms of being able to validate and show proof of concept here about the ability to educate, train, and develop all Americans, professional athletes, world-class athletes competing on, the biggest stage there is in the world.
Hmm.
But also too, being able to develop uh, exceptional students with meaningful degrees that are ready to go out and have great career prospects and opportunities. That's what we're doing right now. And no one can really argue that. The proof's out there. We can
Hmm.
see it all around us. And so I think it's important that we continue to really celebrate that, but also
Hmm.
continue to keep that a focus and lean into it. Because if we can do that really well, then maybe a student athlete's going to make a decision to say, hey, I can achieve everything I want to achieve, whether it be academically, athletically, or in pursuit of my career here at East Texas A&M, and I don't have to go somewhere else to try to realize those dreams. And so I think that's what's so important about what we've been able to do and get some of these great outcomes is because it really does validate what's possible here if you come and pour into your experience here as a student athlete.
So in the end, your total number of portal athletes, student athletes, there's no maximum beyond your roster limits. So, I mean, and what you already have in hand. So, is it fair to say yet that if Clint, does he have a few spots that he still has open that he's waiting on decisions or waiting to see how some things shake out?
Yep.
Rose and Valerie King are both pretty close with their basketball teams, or are they done?
Yeah, I mean, based on my most recent conversation with them, they're both done.
Okay. And then Joe over in volleyball, Coach
Joe's
Morales.
still doing some work right now.
And then track they've
Track hasn't even started
yeah,
yet.
that's a different animal altogether.
Animal.
And then golf and all the rest.
Mhm. Yeah, and and to your point, like because of the timing on some of this stuff with the spring sports, the tracks, the softballs, the golf, like they're just
Mhm.
getting into it now, and summer school starts in 3 weeks. So if you want to get someone here and get them into summer school, again, that's why we don't see a lot of those athletes in summer school. I think for a host of reasons, and one of them is just the way the season plays out, and then this type of stuff. But even volleyball, they got done with their spring season, and their portal opened up. I might have it's either just closed or is about to close. But I mean, it's one of those. Well, that's a fall sport, and they're getting ready to be here on campus in 2.5 months. So it's here.
It doesn't take long. I thought we just finished this grind. It's about to begin
Yeah,
again.
we haven't even finished yet. We got this weekend to go.
Well, man, that's all great stuff. I'm especially thrilled that Night of Champions is sold out, but it's even better that there's still a way for people to participate.
It may be sold out, but it is still open and available to anybody out there. So share it with your friends, share it with Lion Nation, and we'll have a great event there. But again, great opportunities and some great items. So if you haven't checked it out yet, we've got the link at the top of the webpage. You can kind of click on that and get into the silent auction, and you'll see some pretty cool stuff in there for sure.
Good deal. Is that the same way to reach that Atmos scholarship match
That is correct. Yep.
contribution as well?
That is correct.
Excellent.
Yep.
Those are two things. Well, you've already sold out one. We just need to help sell out the scholarship on the other.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
Atmos has got a hand in it. We'll turn 5 into 10.
Bingo. That's it right there.
All right, man. Well, Jim, here we are.
Yeah.
Almost at
We're
the
kind of bringing
end.
this thing in. I think we're going to take next week off, right, Avi? Yeah. So Avi says we're going to take next week off, and then we'll come back maybe to wrap up May, and then we'll reconnect over the summer.
I tell you, if you'd give our executive producer a little more time off, man, we'd have more days off. He's going to have a great time on that, and I'm envious
That's
of
right.
the trip he is about to embark on.
Does everybody know he's going to go inside Passage, Alaska?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
well, now they know.
Now they do.
Now they know. Yeah.
That's
So
great stuff.
now
Have you
little-
been? Have you done
So-
that?
I've never done so. Maybe a lot of people don't know this, but my dad was military, so we were actually stationed in Alaska for a
Oh,
number.
that's right.
So I when I was in grade school for a few years, there was a time there where I was in Anchorage, and so I haven't been where Avi's going, but I've lived in Alaska before, and it's exactly what everybody says. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and but it's long summers and short winters. well, I take it back. Well, short days during the winter, long
Yeah.
winters as a result, right? But
God, no kidding. No trouble sleeping though with all the dark, right?
no, it was good. When I was as young as I was, I didn't know everything else that was going on. So I was just being present where my feet are, right? Just
Yeah.
you
Hey,
know,
so you may relate to this or not. I had a buddy. I have a buddy that's up there. We used to work at the Paris News together many, many moons ago. But he sent video from his garage door into the house, not the one that goes up. But there was a moose in his garage licking road salt off of his car.
Yeah.
That's a common thing.
I've seen more moose than I, probably can count on all my fingers and toes and whatnot. Well, granted, I'm from Maine too, so
True.
between Alaska and Maine, I've seen a fair share of moose for sure. Dangerous on the highway though. Got to stay away.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to run into those. It's
That's-
bad enough here with a deer or a hog.
Yeah, that's right. But
Oh.
yeah, but they're cool. Stay away from the baby moose because there's
Yeah,
a moose nearby.
she's
And
very
I'm
protective.
very protective. Yep. So,
All
so
right.
anybody who's out there wondering how to navigate moose life.
Yes, it's important in Northeast Texas.
Important in Northeast Texas.
They might migrate here. Who knows?
Right. You
Jim,
got a
thank
hog
you.
problem. You don't have a moose problem.
No,
So
I have a hog problem right now. It's close quarter combat out there, but the dogs won't help. They know better. But the tusks on that one we got the other night, that long, you don't want that popping around your ankles or knees or anything. We got to get rid of them. I can't mow either, and that's bothering my bride.
yeah.
All chewed up. That's what the rest of my day is going to be
There it is. There it
playing
is.
on a tractor. Well, Jim, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, sounds good. Sounds good.
And everybody, have a great time off. Go, if you've got tickets, have a great time at the fundraiser. Everybody loves casino night. And if you go to the roulette wheel, 7, 3, 13. 3 numbers, play them all night long. And all your money that you lose will go to a good cause. Jim, great to see you as always.
Thank you, sir.
We'll be doing this in the Hall of Fame room here again, all of us before long.
Yes, sir.
Lions up, folks. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on the next edition of Inside Lion Athletics.